into my life. At first I wasn't sure if you were playing games or if you wanted more. Just because someone else broke my heart, I didn't want to make you pay the price before I even got to know what you were. Make me just a little bit.
Everybody, listen, if that didn't wake you up, I don't know what will. How's everybody doing? This is Girl Talk Sunday, and I am your host, Sandy Best Life Jones. And I am here to help women from all over the world give birth to the purpose and the plan for their lives through honoring God, honoring our body, and owning our worth. This is a faith-based platform, and all who come in peace are welcome. I'm so excited tonight, y'all. Listen, this is surreal for me right now. I cannot believe I'm about to do this interview. And I'm going to tell you why when I bring Juanita out. For those of you that haven't heard the story, I'm going to share it again. But I'm so honored and delighted to have a guest of this magnitude on my show. And the fact that I met her so many years ago, and now here we are, full circle, and I'm about to interview her on my show. It's kind of surreal to me. It's actually not kind of, it is surreal to me. And I'm really, really excited if you can't tell. But welcome to the Girl Talk Sunday show. I'm so glad to see you all. I want to see some people in the chit chat. Before we bring Juanita out, I need you guys to put some hearts in the chat. Let her know that she is loved, that she is welcome. I want you to greet her warmly. She's such a sweetheart. We had a really, really good pre-interview. And tonight's interview is going to be thought-provoking and eye-opening. And I hope that you as the viewer walk away with just a little more encouragement. I hope something that Juanita has to share will empower you and inspire you to run after your dreams the way she's run after hers. Because we all need something in our life to work towards, some kind of goal, dream, aspiration, something that we're working towards. And I'm just really delighted to be able to share Juanita's story with you. So thank you all for being here tonight. Before I bring her out, I do want to, I want to introduce her properly because her credentials really do speak for themselves. That's just what it is. Juanita Wynn has written hits for some of the biggest artists in the music industry, to include Quincy Jones, Lalah Hathaway, the Fred Hammond, Destiny's Child, Angie Stone, Ben Tankard, just to name a few. I can't even name them all. It's too many. It's too many hits. I can't name them all. And so now she's ready to step from behind the shadow where she writes so beautifully and introduce the world to her music, sung by her in her beautiful voice. And that was her song that I was playing at the beginning of the show. That song is called The One, and it is by my guest, Grammy Award-winning songwriter, Juanita Wynn. She is here. I'm looking at her right now. She's in the green room. I'm going to bring her out in just a moment. But I want to talk about just a couple things before we get started. Ooh, first I want to show you my Best Life merch that I'm wearing. Yes, I have my own line of apparel. It is called Best Life merch. And I'm wearing one of my Juneteenth shirts. If you can see, it says homage. And then it has the date of Juneteenth, which is June 19th, 1865. If you do not know what Juneteenth is, please Google it because you need to know. This tea and many more can be found on my website at shopbestlifemerch.com. There's a whole lot of Juneteenth gear out right now and several other designs too. So check that out when you get a chance, but not right now because you don't want to miss this interview. All right, I'm going to bring my guest out. She's a little bit nervous, so I need y'all to make her feel welcome. Matter of fact, let me open up the chat so I can see who's here. I don't see Nan Hart in this chat. I need to see some hearts in the chat, y'all. A heart, a hi, a hello, a name. I need to see something because I see you watching. So let me know that you're here by putting something in the chat for me. Oh, and do me a big favor. Please share the broadcast right now. Share the live. If you're watching on YouTube, share it. If you're watching on Facebook, please share it. We want as many people as possible to see this episode of Girl Talk Sunday because I believe it's going to bless you. I really, really do. So do that for me really quick. If you're on Facebook, go ahead and share it real quick. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and share it really quick so that all of your friends and their mutual friends and their mutual friends and their mutual friends can see the broadcast. Okay, thank you for doing that for me. I appreciate it. All right, without further ado, I want to introduce to you, hey, that's my baby daddy. Ah, hey, Big Mike. Big Mike is in the house, y'all. Without further ado, I want to introduce to some and present to others my friend. Man, I can't wait for you to meet her. She is the one. Juanita Wynn is in the house. I'm bringing her in right now. There she is. We're going to the big screen so we can see her.
Hey,
Juanita!
I'm here.
Hey, how are you, darling?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am well. I'm just a little bit, I'm mad because I can't play your song in the background while we're talking because I just want to listen to it while
Oh,
we're talking.
oh,
And I couldn't figure out how to play it in the background. My nephew's going to show me, but he didn't have time. So
okay.
next time I'll know how to do it. How are you tonight? It's good to
I'm
see you.
doing good. I'm blessed. I thank God I'm here. You know,
Good.
it's
Yeah.
good to be here with you. It's been so long.
I know. We have to tell the story. Okay, we have to tell the story because this is such a God thing to me. It just feels like a God thing to me. I believe that God connected us all those years ago because he knew we would meet each other again. And I didn't know in what capacity we would meet again, but I knew we would meet
Yeah,
again one day. And so
yeah.
this is what happened. 20 years ago, on my, well, actually, it was the year before, I was introduced to Juanita's brand new album that had just come out. It's called You Don't Know. And I want to say one of my friends, one of the Jones, I call them the Jones kids, but they're not kids, they grown.
They're
But
grown.
they know they grown. They know I call them the Jones kids. But one of
Talented.
them,
Yes. Talented
yes,
Jones girls.
yes, the
Family.
Jones girls. One of the Jones girls introduced me to Juanita Wynn's music. And that was in 2002. And when I tell you I wore that album out, baby, listen, I wore that album out. And so when in 2003, in March of 2003, I found out that Juanita was going to be at an event hosted by her family in Reno, Nevada. Now, I had never met Juanita. I did not know Juanita. All I knew was every song on her album, You Don't Know, resonated with me,
Wow.
some more than others. And I was turning 35 that next month, that April. This was April 2020 or April 2003. And I said, I have to go and meet her. That's what I said in my mind. I said, I have to go and meet her. So I booked a ticket to Reno, got myself a hotel down there, and I went to the event that was hosted by her family. I met her whole family, and I got to meet her, and I got to tell her in person how much her music meant to me. And it still does. And here we are 20 years later,
Hmm.
and she is on my show, and I can see her and she can see me,
That's right.
and y'all can see us. And we're getting ready to talk about her music and her life and her childhood and what she's doing right now. We're going to talk about her children, and her friends and family are watching. And I'm so excited right now. I just believe that it is time for the world to be welcomed into Juanita's world of music. The world needs to know you as an artist because we know you as a songwriter because you write the hits.
Mm,
But it's time for us to know you as an artist. It's time for the world to hear your voice.
yeah.
And I told her in our pre-interview that I'm going to use the platform that God has given me to shine the light on her gift because I think it's something that the world needs right now, especially right now. She writes about love. She writes about encouragement. She writes about loving yourself. She writes about how to pick up the broken pieces of your life and hand them to God so that he can make a masterpiece out of those pieces. And I think the world needs that anthem right now. The world needs that message right now. And so I'm doing what I can in my neck of the woods with
Mhm.
my platform to introduce more people to my guest, Juanita Wynn. So, Juanita, I'm going to say to you what I say to all of my guests when they come on my show. Tell us who you are and tell us what you do.
Well, I am Juanita Wynn, child of the king.
All right. Most importantly.
You know, sometimes you try to narrow down who you are,
Mm-hmm.
but there's so many different things that God has blessed me with the ability to be able to do, from playwriting to songwriting
Mm-hmm.
to, man, healthcare, uh,
Yeah.
elderly. I've done that, to just a man, just being an artist as a singer. And there's so many different gifts that God has given me, and I don't minimize any of them because they all seem to work in some kind of capacity. I've even worked with seniors, and they say, what, can you sing a song? Oh, okay, we're still singing, you know. But more than anything, I have compassion for humanity,
Mm-hmm.
uh, for children,
Yeah.
for troubled teens, for women, who've gone through tumultuous situations. That is my passion.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, I can't sum that up in a couple of words. I'm a lot of things.
Multi-layered.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you said that you're used to people asking you to sing, because I'm going to ask you to sing before we leave here tonight. So just,
Let me pray about it.
Okay. Okay, you can pray about it. You can pray about it. So I want to start with you sharing a little bit about your childhood, because I believe that our childhood is the foundation of our life, and then we build the rest of our life on that foundation. And the way we are raised and the things that happen in our childhood, whether they're good or not, um, define how we show up in the world as adults. And so I want to talk about, you know, your life as a child. I know that you were raised in the church. Your parents were, your dad was a pastor, your mother is an evangelist, and you have a whole lot of siblings. So we want to talk about that and just talk about what your childhood was like for you.
Well, when you grow up in the church,
Mm-hmm.
you have parents that are in ministry, and that is their focus.
Mm-hmm.
And you go through, you could experience so many different things as the children, what I'm saying? Because as you know, when you're doing anything for God,
Mm-hmm.
the enemy is going to try, and I say he hides in the shadows of your strengths. The
Mm-hmm.
areas that you think you have under control, like, oh, I'm not worried about that. I already got that. Or, that you're not worried about that child because they're a straight A student. And
Right.
you think that that's the least child, the one that you're not going to have to worry about.
Right.
Later down the road, you find out that there were things that took place
Mm-hmm.
in that child's life that you
Mm-hmm.
were like, I would have never known.
Right.
That was somewhat of my situation.
Mm-hmm.
I see things different now because I'm older. I'm aware, you know what I'm saying, and I understand some things as a parent. But growing up in church, there were some things that I experienced as a young child
Mm-hmm.
that were traumatizing,
Mm-hmm.
life altering.
Mm-hmm.
Changed the direction of where maybe my life would have gone if I had not experienced different levels and types of abuse,
Right. Right.
mentally, mentally, emotionally, so on and so forth. Did I lose you there? Are you
No,
still
I'm here. I'm
okay?
here.
Um, and I just feel like, okay, I lost you. Hold on. Let me do
Uh-oh.
some people are
I can
trying to
see.
call me. People are trying to
Oh,
call.
I know I have to turn off my notifications because people will call me in the middle of a live. I'm not sure why, but it happens every single time.
Yeah, I'm like, somebody's trying to call. Okay. Well, I don't see you.
Uh-oh.
So I
Well, I
don't know.
see you, so just keep talking.
Okay.
I'll
So
be back.
So, so the things that took place and transpired were all life altering for me, life changing for me. And I couldn't articulate it to my parents. I didn't know how to make it make sense
Mm-hmm.
because the sequence and the way that everything took place.
Right. Right.
And I was like, okay, wait, now this happened. I can't say anything because this just happened. And now this, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and my parents were in the total dark,
Mm-hmm.
you know, um, because in ministry, you trust
Right.
others in ministry,
Right.
But what happened is it made me
Mm-hmm.
build up a fear of uh, I felt vulnerable, let me just say,
Mm-hmm.
around anyone. I felt vulnerable around anybody I didn't know. I
Mm-hmm.
was afraid they were going to get out of line or say
Mm-hmm.
something out of line. You
Right.
know, I mean, and police people that I trusted, like from even my father,
Mm-hmm.
because of that taking place on the ride to school from home.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be in the car, my dad would be taking me to school, and I'd be afraid he was going to say something
Mm-hmm.
out of line, and he never.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
that would have never happened.
Right.
But certain types of abuse, mental abuse,
Mm-hmm.
or any kind of physical abuse or whatever, can make someone, it can change the way
Mm-hmm.
that a person sees things or the way that they trust or
Mm-hmm.
the way they move. It can make them lose self-esteem, or try to cover up. I know a young lady who had gone through some abuse, and even myself, I started wearing baggy clothes because I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want anyone to look at my developed shape or
Yeah.
whatever. I
Yeah.
was, trying to hide everything. But there's so many women that are going through these things. And that's why my heart goes out to women, because there's so many women that have gone through certain things that were unprotected.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to find themselves in and fit into what life is now. You know what I'm saying? And grow up and have a successful life,
Mm-hmm.
relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and not have to deal with all those things. God is the reason why I don't have that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
God is the reason why I'm not walking around with that fear anymore.
Right.
I had to develop that. I had to go through that on my own. But my sisters us
Mm-hmm.
singing different places was healing for me.
Yeah.
The harmony. My oldest sister, Patricia, taught harmony, and she would play, and and write some amazing songs.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew how to fit in. It was like, for me, it was healing. For me,
Mm-hmm.
it was healing.
Mm-hmm.
Music to this day is healing. I know I sing the way I sing and I write the way I write
Mm-hmm.
because I learned a long time ago that how powerful music is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I learned that there's a responsibility
Mm-hmm.
as a writer that I have to my listener to
Mm-hmm.
be responsible
Mm-hmm.
about what I put in the atmosphere. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. I agree.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's the gist of that part of my life.
So I remember you saying that you sang your first solo in church around age 5 or 6. And at that time, were you hiding trauma and abuse that had happened to you?
Yeah, I always had an attitude
Mm-hmm.
when it was time for me to sing, and they say, "Sing, Juanita," and I'd just be like, they said, "Fine, forget it. You know, I just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just was just always feeling like, nobody, like I had something to say, but didn't know how to say it, you know, just was quiet, and then I'm the middle child. So the older kids had secrets with the adults because they were older, and the younger kids, I didn't want to be bothered. I'm like, y'all kids, you're babies. I'm
Mm-hmm.
a big girl.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but I mean, for me, um, just I think I just embraced it when I was able to. You know, I embraced it. When I would get in front of the mic, it was like healing for me.
Mm-hmm. And you said your mother was the one that really encouraged you to sing.
Mhm.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, you know, my mother, she tried to give me some voice lessons. She put a candle in front of my mouth, and her and a gentleman that went to the church, worked with a minister at the church, George Cotton. They were trying to help me put the candle in front of my mouth, and I was supposed to sing and not blow it out.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a kind of a breathy singer.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it didn't work. But, but my mom took the time out to, you know, just make me feel like she was hearing me as a
Yeah.
singer.
Yeah.
Even to this day, if I go home, she's like, Juanita, come in here and sing something, you know. So
So as you moved into your teenage years, the trauma that you experienced as a younger child began to manifest, and you started acting out, you started running away, and things got really hectic. Talk a little bit about that.
yeah, you know, you have to reach your children before anyone else does.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you feel like you're not being heard,
Right.
then you find a group of people outside that are listening. You feel like that becomes your family. And you feel like I found people who are just like me.
Mm-hmm.
And as a teen runaway,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I know God was protecting me even then.
Mm-hmm.
They knew, like my mom and dad, they were very prevalent in the state of Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was a very, I call him a humanitarian. He did so much. And, you know, I would run away and they'd tell my mother where I was.
Mm.
I mean, my friend Marla, she'd tell my mom, I said, why are you telling her? They find me. And she'd say, she's so nice. I can't lie to her.
Yeah.
Really, it was God protecting me.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know, even on the run, they would ask me to sing.
Oh Lord, you
I'm like,
couldn't even be a troubled teen without somebody asking you to sing.
yeah, I could.
Oh.
They were like, you know, Juanita, sing. I'm like, you guys are smoking weed. You know, they're like, you can't smoke the weed. You don't. You no. You're naturally funny. You
Mm.
know, and I was like, I didn't know what I was doing, but there were things that I don't know. I feel like the Lord wanted me to see some things
Mm-hmm.
with my eyes wide open, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
without being under the influence of anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just exactly what happened.
Yeah.
You know, I experienced tears. There were children out there from the whose parents they grew up in church.
Mm.
Some parents were on drugs. I say from the rich house,
Mm-hmm.
poor house,
Mm-hmm.
from the
Yeah.
crack house to
Mm-hmm.
the church house. Some of everyone's child
Yeah.
was out there crying out for help, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and we were all there sharing and swapping stories and, you know, sometimes crying. And then some were just numb. Some were just numb,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
So, in hindsight, looking back now, what would you say you were running away from all those years ago? What were you running from?
I don't want to say I was running from anything
Mm.
as much as I was running to
Okay. Mm-hmm.
something,
Mm-hmm.
running to acceptance,
Mm-hmm.
what I thought was acceptance, running to familiarity,
Mm.
running to people who I felt were not going to judge me,
Right.
like-minded, who
Mm-hmm.
were hurting like me, right? You know, I felt like um, I belonged,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I think it was more, they call it a runaway, but I was running too,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So ended up in girls' schools, a girls' school I was in for like a year, and then again for 6 months, it was a year and 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I learned the value of accountability. That
Mm-hmm.
one word they drilled in us, accountability.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the growth began. But
Mm-hmm.
until then, you know, even in there were girls going through things. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm an angel
Wait a
compared.
minute.
What did you say you did? You know, and I just knew. I mean, wow, things I never would have heard just sitting maybe in Sunday school. Not to say that it is that's every children don't start running away.
Mhm.
You know,
Right, right.
that was my journey.
Mhm.
That was my journey. Ended up with two children. By the
Mm,
time I was 17, I had two children.
mm.
You
At
know,
17.
by 17, I had two children.
Wow.
The age 18, my father died when I was 17. So then by the time I was 18, I was married.
Mm.
Yes. So, it went pretty fast.
Yeah. Did you feel
But
like you grew up really fast?
I
Yeah.
I did. Because you do. I mean, I tell parents who say, well, you don't want my child to be locked up so they can experience that. No, you don't.
No, you
Because
don't.
there are people in
Because
there.
it changes. Like you just said, it changes who they could have been or should have been
Mhm.
when you go through that experience. And I know because I went through the exact same thing. And that is, again, where our lives mirror each other. Because I was a teen runaway too. I was a foster child too. I was in group homes too. I was emancipated by the court too.
Right.
So it changes who you could have been because you're so vulnerable
Yeah.
to the people that are in charge of you when you are living in that setting and they're not your parents. So it's like I have to kind of sing for my supper and assimilate myself in this strange place so I can feel a little bit safe. And that changes who you could have been or should have been when you're a child and you go through that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
And, I would sing my song, A Praying Mother, and mothers would come to me crying
Hmm.
and they'd say, I don't know where my child is.
Mm,
You know,
yeah,
that would just, I mean, it would just break me on the inside,
yeah.
because now every Mother's Day when I call my mom, I tell her, I say, Happy Mother's Day to the best mom God could have ever given me.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know, for
yeah,
me, she was perfect.
yeah.
She didn't give up. She didn't stop and say, whatever, let her die out there.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, she looked for me. My mom would find me. I
Hmm.
don't even know how, but she would find me. I would never be gone longer than 2 nights, maybe. Sleeping. We'd find abandoned places. It was terrible. It was terrible.
Yeah.
But but I'm a survivor.
Hmm.
I say all the time, I mean, I would know how to survive if I had to in
Hmm.
an emergency situation,
Hmm.
but I'm a survivor
Hmm.
and I'm a lover of people because I realize it's never what it appears. You
Hmm.
look at someone and you draw a conclusion, and it's so far from that.
Hmm.
It's so far from that. You don't know what it takes for each one of us to be who we are.
So, would you say that your time as a teen runaway prepared you for your life as an adult, or did it add to some of the dysfunction you went through as an adult, or both? Did it both prepare you and add to the dysfunction?
All things
Yeah,
work together
yeah, yeah.
for the good of them who love the Lord and those who are called according to his purpose.
Mm-hmm,
And I knew I was called
mm-hmm,
as I got older because it was pieces that were coming together that I understood. Wow, yeah, I can use what happened in this scenario,
mm-hmm.
what I learned in this program,
Right,
with this. I-
right.
It gave me insight.
Mm-hmm,
Even as a songwriter, I write the way I write is because
mm-hmm,
I'm in tune with
mm-hmm.
myself.
Right, 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 right.
I know if you ask me something about me, Juanita, why do you feel that way? Do you
Mm-hmm,
know there are people who can't tell you why they feel the way they feel?
mm-hmm.
I can.
Yeah.
I
It
can.
comes out in the music.
I can. I ask myself the questions, Juanita, why, and be honest.
Mm-hmm,
You got to be able to be honest with yourself
mm-hmm,
and see yourself through honest eyes.
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
I think everything that I've gone through and that I've experienced and seen has made me that person,
Yeah.
made it easier for me to, say, Juanita, now don't do that, don't say that. You know, you reap what you sow. You
Mhm,
know, you
mhm,
know. I
mhm.
mean, it's just being in tune with myself.
So you grew up as, I think you said number six of
Mm.
nine siblings. Yeah. What did your siblings think about you running away all the time?
Oh Lord, they was like, "What is wrong with?"
Oh.
God, they would be so mad at me because, you know, I mean, as a parent now,
Hmm.
look at, a 13-year-old
Hmm.
on the street,
Yeah.
imagining it, it would just send me to a place of anxiety.
Hmm.
If I and I did experience my daughter one time, she had a situation where she felt unsafe and
Hmm.
she ran. And I was
Hmm.
like, "Where is she? Oh my Lord," you know.
Hmm.
So, but my siblings, they were like, "Why are you doing this?
Hmm. Yeah.
Why are you?" And it's cold outside.
Right.
You have a
You
warm.
felt more comfortable outside, sleeping outside, than or scrounging for somewhere to lay your head than being at home. And people don't understand that. It's hard. If you never, if you don't, if you haven't experienced what you went through that caused your mindset to go that way, you won't understand
Yeah, yeah.
why you would want to do that.
I
Yeah.
look at kids on the street now. I know when I lived in New York, I'm like, and
Mhm,
it's so cold outside. I'm like, why are they just standing out here talking?
mhm,
Go in
mhm,
the house, aren't you? You
mhm.
know? But then I think, there was a time when I couldn't feel the cold either.
Right.
You were
Yeah.
so stuck in your head and consumed with all your hurt and your pain, you know, that you're just going through the motions of life.
Hmm.
Just going through the motions.
Yeah. So you're the mother of two at 17. You marry at 18, and then that goes left really fast. Talk a little bit about that too.
Within a few years, it was over. But before that, you know, I mean, I was young. He was much older than me and physically abusive. You know,
Mm,
I I didn't know I didn't know I had options.
mm, hmm.
I didn't know I had options.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, but I do realize now with the apology and who he is now,
Hmm.
you I know he's not that person anymore. But before that, I had to learn my lessons and go through my journey because of the
Hmm.
decisions that I made. You know what I'm saying? And plus with children and my father passing by 17, you
Hmm.
it was kind of like, this is the thing for you to do, marry him, as the father of your child, marry, you know, that's where you need to be. He's older, he had a job, it was seemed like the thing to do. I didn't really want to do that, but
Hmm.
that's what I did. That's
Yeah.
what I did. And you know, so but like I said, it all worked
For the
together.
good.
Happened for a reason.
Yeah.
Now I can write about it for other women who may be going through what I experienced,
Hmm.
may have survived what I experienced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit in your pre-interview about that time during that time when you were married and you were working different jobs, working as a hostess at the casino and other jobs, just to make sure that you had what you needed for your children, because your children are your life. We
Yeah.
talked about them too. And but there came a point where you were singing. I think you were singing at the Broadway.
Hmm.
And was that in Reno?
Yeah. No, Sacramento.
Sacramento. And someone who worked for the Quincy Jones heard you sing and came and asked you what?
Oh yeah, she asked me, did I write?
Mm-hmm.
I told her no,
You said no.
I don't write.
Oh boy.
And she said, you ad lib like you can write.
Mm,
and I want to give you a couple of tracks. And she
mhm,
did a couple of tracks by Rory Bennett,
mhm,
who did All My Life for Casey and JoJo, and the Mama song for Casey and JoJo.
mm,
And I wrote to both songs within a matter of a day or two,
mhm,
and called her and sang both songs over the phone
mhm.
with my little karaoke machine. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, these are great! These are great songs!" And next thing I knew, they were flying me to Burbank, California,
Wow.
and I ended up signing with Quincy Jones Music Publishing as
Yeah.
a writer. Mhm.
Speaking of Quincy Jones, he did a write up on you, and I want to read what he said.
Oh, cool.
This is the Quincy Jones now. We talking about the Quincy Jones Music Publishing Catalog, which is home to over 1,600 titles spanning 5 decades of music, covering numerous musical genres. And this is what Quincy had to say about you. Gospel R&B lyricist and artist Juanita Wynn helped pave a new road in the often traveled world of contemporary gospel music with insightful lyrics and trend-setting vocal arrangements. I'm telling you, the vocal arrangements give me life. With trend-setting, insightful lyrics and trend-setting vocal arrangements, Juanita has helped catapult artists like Virtue, Fate, Sarah Vaughan Davenport, and Ben Tankard into the limelight. With a vast catalog of her songs, we expect to procure many more covers in the near future. That is a write up that the Quincy Jones wrote about my guest, Juanita Wynn. So you wrote for Quincy, you signed a contract for, was it 2 years?
It was 2 years I was with them. Yeah.
Okay. And I told you I was gonna ask you this question. I told you in the pre-interview because I don't want you to share the secret sauce. I just want to know, what is your writing process? What does that look like? And when you're writing, do you know you're writing a hit, or are you just writing from your life experience, from your heart, from what God has given you to write from? How does that work?
Yeah, I write from experience,
Hmm.
or something. I try to be as honest
Hmm.
and transparent as I can in my lyrics. And then sometimes there was a time everything was so feely,
Hmm.
up tempo track, and it's just too. I mean, filled with words that made you have to think.
Yeah.
That's when I found out that's not how you write to an up tempo track.
Okay.
They were like, hey, listen, you can't have them stop there. You want them to kind of move. You don't want them to kind of look at the speakers like, what did she say? You know, you gotta write a lyric, the lyric and the melody and the music
Mhm.
it has to be a marriage. And
Oh,
so
I
I
love that. The
yeah,
lyric, the melody, and the music has
have
to be a marriage.
has to be a marriage.
Okay, okay, I love that. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead. I'm gonna shut up. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that the flow has to go. When you hear certain, like if you hear an up tempo song and it's called you know, uh maybe something like She Left Me Alone.
Mm-hmm,
Well, it's gonna have to be gimmicky and funny if you're gonna have that title
mm-hmm,
up tempo track, because
mm.
otherwise, because that's not a happy situation.
Right,
You know
right.
what I'm saying? So it's got to be something from the heart. you know if you're going to write, you need that music that's going to speak to the heartbeat of the person, where they can, like, soon as the strings come in, it sets the tone. uh,
Right.
you
Oh, I
know
love the
letting
string.
people you're letting them know how you want them to feel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Music, even when you watch a movie, when you hear the music come on in a scary movie or
Mhm.
something, like, uh-oh, somebody's getting ready to come out the corner.
Right. Right.
But
That makes sense.
the
You
music
can
tells
tell.
you
Yeah.
how to feel.
Right. The music tells you how to feel.
The music.
So so let me just give an example. when you did the background vocals and the vocal arrangements for the song Lately by Tyrese, how did you approach that?
Well,
I love that song. That's an absolutely beautiful song.
I'm just the singer on there. I didn't
Mhm.
write it.
But you did but okay, so with the background vocals, did you do the vocal arrangement?
No,
Okay, so you did the background vocals.
I'm just the singer on it. Yeah, I did the arrangement of the little ad lib I did in
Mhm.
there, but DOA Allen and Tyrese, they came up with the hook, and they wanted me to sing the lady, and that's all I did.
Okay, so let me pick another. Oh, when you wrote "If" for Destiny's Child,
Mm-hmm.
talk about that. If you da 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 da. Oh my God, I love that song.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so talk about
Listen,
that one. When you wrote "If," how did you approach that? Did you have to hear the music first, or did the lyrics come 1st?
when we got that track,
Mm-hmm.
Doc Wilder did that track.
Mm-hmm.
When we got that track, me and these two other girls, big draws,
Mm-hmm.
Tanisha and Chanel,
Mm-hmm.
I
You
heard
said
the
Big Charles.
they call big draws.
Who the what? Okay, never mind. Go ahead. We'll talk
Yeah,
about it.
that's their name. Their writer.
Okay.
Big
Okay.
So they when we got the music,
Mm,
it played the Natalie Cole, dun, 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 and then it had it, dun, dun, dun. What she was gonna say is inseparable, but they
mm,
kept the it. That's it.
right.
So I was like, what are we gonna do with that in there? What? So I came up with if I don't pick up the phone like I used to, and then the other girl said, for you. We just
Right.
collaborated.
Oh,
So it just came together. I mean, it was a story, the song, the music to Inseparable. When it
mm,
starts, it sounds like you're going to tell a story,
mm-hmm,
because the piano and
mm-hmm,
the strings and everything, it sounds like it's going to be a story. So
mm-hmm,
that's how we approached it,
mm-hmm.
like telling a story. Yeah,
So the music, the lyrics, the melody, all of that marries together to tell a story.
it's a family.
Okay. I have never heard an artist say that, and they probably have, but I've never heard it. And it makes so much sense.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I want to talk about your Grammy winning song because that didn't happen the way you thought it was going to happen. And
No.
most people would have thought what happened was a huge letdown, but it turned out to you just like you said, all things work together for the good. So talk about how that song ended up on Lalah Hathaway's live album when it wasn't supposed to be on that album.
Yeah, that song was going to be on the album she did before the Layla Live,
Mhm.
and it got leaked. It was being played on Heart and Soul.
Oh.
So the producer, Jonathan Richmond, he called me. He's like, "This song is playing already. Like, it's not even been released. We haven't even done the paperwork, and what's going on?" And so he was like, "I gotta stop. I gotta call her because
Mhm.
somebody leaked it." And so they pulled it. And next thing I know, she's like, "Well, we're going to put it on the next project.
Mhm.
Sorry for that, whatever. We're going to put it on the next project, which was the Layla Live."
Mm.
And man, I was like, that's awesome. So it's going to make it. And when the Grammys came along,
Mhm.
I didn't know the nomination. I didn't know anything was going to happen like that. I just get a phone call and said, "Congratulations, you got a Grammy." I was like, "Where? For what?"
Whoa.
Hathaway. I said, "I did?"
What?
Well, why they tell me? I would have showed up to the Grammys and ran up on stage when they called. No,
Wow.
but yeah, so being a part of that project, I received a Grammy because she got a Grammy for the project,
Right.
the entire project.
So your song that was supposed to be on the album before the live album didn't end up on the album before. It got kicked to the live and it won a Grammy.
And it won a Grammy.
Girl, if that ain't a God thing,
Yes.
it's just God.
It's
His
just,
favor is unlimited.
yeah.
You just have to trust him. That's why I feel like, and you tell me if you agree, it seems to me that as an artist, when you write a song and another artist picks it up to perform it, it's like you're giving your child away to marriage. And so you have to let go of the song and just let it go where it's going to go. And you don't know what's going to happen with the song. I mean, it's not like you know the song is going to be nominated for a Grammy.
No.
You just release it with love. Is that how you feel?
Well, when you write a song,
Mm-hmm.
you're usually writing it to you. The main thing is you want to give it to somebody
Mm-hmm.
and deliver it.
Right.
It's kind of like if you have a message
Mm-hmm.
that you want to tell the world,
Mm-hmm.
and you know you've got 10 people there from 10 different states. You give the message to those 10 people
Mm-hmm.
so they can spread it and give it to another 10 people
Mm-hmm.
and they can spread it. That's how it works. You don't keep it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I write because I want to say something to people.
Right.
I
Right.
knew that the first time when I was in the studio with the Wynn sisters, and my sister wrote a song called God Said It.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the headphones on and I started crying at the end of it. They were calling me Michael Jackson, said, I said, oh, I'm going to get it over. They're like, no, we're going to keep that, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's when I knew. I said, wow, I can speak through this thing called music,
Yeah.
say something.
Yeah.
I can say something that maybe will help someone else, or
Mm-hmm.
you know and that's so when I write a song, I give them away. There's one song I would not give away,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the song I wrote called Praying Mother.
Mm.
I mean, they were talking about Mary wanted it, and I was like, no, it's too personal.
Mary
That
J.
is too personal.
Mary J. Blige wanted it.
Yes.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
But that song I wrote, I was crying in the booth because I wrote about my mother, how she prayed for me.
Yeah.
A praying mother has been a song that people have appreciated, down through the years. I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
But I wrote that song about my mother,
Mm-hmm.
and it was too personal. And they were like, "You're gonna lose money. You're gonna." I'm sorry.
Mm-mm.
I'm sorry. That's something that's personal.
Yeah.
When I
And
did
for
it,
those of you that want to hear the song, A Praying Mother is on Juanita's very first album that she released. It's called You Don't Know. It's on YouTube. I listen to it all the time. And A Praying Mother is one of the songs that resonated with me because you sing about being a child on the run, on the streets. You were looking for love. That was me. That was me at 14, 15 years old. And that's the song that resonated so deeply with me, which is what got me on the plane to meet you
wow.
back in 2003, 20 years ago. It was that song, A Praying Mother. So if you want to hear the song, it's on her album on YouTube or Apple Music. Her music is everywhere. But the album is called You Don't Know, and the song is called A Praying Mother. I absolutely love that song. There's that whole album. There's
Yeah.
no reason why that album didn't fly off into the stratosphere. I don't know what happened, but every song on that album, even now,
Mhm.
because I think that album came out in what, 2002?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Even now, you could play that song on the radio and it's a bop. Even now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. And maybe it wasn't meant to blow up like I think it should have blew up because, who am I? But those songs on that album, I every song,
I
every
think
song to me in some kind of
I think Roscoe Hamby,
way. Hmm.
who was the owner and founder of Rock Diamond Records,
Hmm.
for that opportunity, because it was all live instrumentation.
Wow.
You know, um,
Wow.
it's not for nothing. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? There were some obstacles that we ran into
Mhm.
during when that project came out. And um, there was so much that I needed to learn
Mhm.
when that project came out,
Right.
even about my voice,
Hmm.
how to um, be prepared.
Hmm.
And when I go live,
Hmm.
to be able to present a song and get a song across. There was some things that just transpired that I was like, okay, this is just gotta pause. And I moved. I left California and I
Hmm.
moved to New York because I'd signed my deal with Sony.
Hmm.
9/11 happened. It was so many things that transpired.
Yeah.
Pro-
Yeah.
You know, so but it's not dead.
No,
It's
it's not.
um everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's on YouTube and I listen to it all the time. I listen to Fresh Anointing, the Wynn sisters. I listen to that all the time.
Mhm.
It's just music doesn't go out of style. It doesn't expire. Whatever comes from the heart reaches the heart and it will always reach your heart.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I listen to the music from back in the day. Some of this stuff today, I don't know what they're saying. And that could be because I'm getting old, or it could just be that's the new singing style now. And I don't know what they're saying. But I love me some old school R&B. I love old school gospel. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you. So when you write songs for these artists and they include them on their album, do you ever get a chance to meet the artists?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I wrote for Destiny's Child, I was right there with them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were right there. We were
What was
working.
that like?
Man, it was such an amazing experience.
Mhm.
I don't know. I know people have their opinion of different artists, so on
Mhm.
and so forth, how they feel, but working with each one of them
Mhm.
was so amazing. I worked closely, like right there with Beyonce,
Mhm.
and one of the most humble. I mean, she's very humble
Mhm.
and so talented.
Mhm.
She was like, "Your harmonies are like my harmonies. You go in and record it," because they had somewhere else to go. And I
Mhm.
was like, "Really?" you
Mhm.
said, "I trust you to do this." So I went in
Yeah.
and recorded, and it was great working closely with her.
Mhm.
It's really great. Virtue, even Fred Hammond.
Love Virtue.
Hmm
Which songs did you do on Virtuosity? Which songs did you write?
On
That's
Virtue,
my album right there. I love that album.
I did a few. Get ready, get ready.
Hmm.
I wrote on that one. Virtuosity, I think he's been good.
Yeah.
Down on my knees
Uh, uh, Put Your War Clothes On. Did you write that?
and war clothes.
What? Oh Lord, girl,
Yes.
listen. I will turn that album on a Sunday morning while I'm getting ready to church and blast that thing all through my house.
Yeah.
Get ready is
Hmm
my song. That's my song. I wish I could have teed them up so we could play them while you're talking. I
Yeah.
just I didn't have time to do it, and then I didn't know how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I tried, but I just couldn't figure out how to do it because I wanted people to hear. But
Yeah.
most people know Virtue. They're one of the biggest gospel groups ever.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
songs are huge.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
so talented. That Karima.
Woo!
She's so talented. I mean, she's
Her
just,
ad libs.
yeah.
Yeah, her ad libs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, are you Grammy nominated as well, other than the one you won with Layla?
Not Grammy, but for Virtue, I was a Dove nominated.
No. Okay.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
nominated for a Dove Award.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So we're gonna fast forward to now
Uh-huh.
because the song that I played at the top of the show is one of your latest. That came out last year, correct? The one.
Yes.
That came out 2022. You had you had that song and
Make
this
it
thing
right.
called Live, Make It Right.
Hmm
Um, what's happening with you now, and when can we expect to see a full body of work from Juanita Wynn?
Well, right now I am working closely with Herb Middleton.
Hmm.
I got some notes here I wanted to talk about
Hmm.
on a solo project.
Hmm.
He's got a label called Moontown. Instead of
Hmm.
Motown, it's Moon.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it's going to be a record label, record deal, and publishing.
Mhm.
He's working with, I mean, Herb. He has a resume, I mean, that goes so far back. Big Herb, you can look
Mm.
at. He's written, produced for so many major artists. It's
Mhm.
not even funny. He's
Mhm.
really, really, really talented. Um, let me see. Let me see. It's something else. I wrote down something I wanted to say. He's a Grammy nominated multi-platinum producer.
Mm.
I don't want to say it wrong. That's why I'm reading my notes.
Yes, get that
Yes.
right.
And he loves the Lord. He
Yeah.
loves the Lord, his family, they're, believers. And, I mean, so uplifting and positive.
Mhm.
And we're working on a women's empowerment movement called Dirt to Diamonds.
Mhm.
Uh,
Nice.
yes, it's the Dirt to Diamonds experience with Herb, um, supported by a diamond company called O Diamonds.
Mm.
So it's dealing with some women who have survived
Mhm.
maybe single marriage, I mean, single motherhood,
Mhm.
made and become successful with their children, or
Mhm.
divorce, or, whatever it could be, But it's a lot of great music that we're
Mhm.
doing
Mhm.
that is so inspiring, so inspiring. We're working on one now called Shine Through. I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but
We just had an exclusive, y'all.
yes.
Pay attention.
Yeah,
I love it. What's it called? Shine through.
Shine Through.
Okay. So when
Shine.
can we expect that? Are you going to release it as a single, or is it going
I
to be?
think it's gonna be part of the project because
Oh, okay. Okay.
I also have the songs that came out with Make It Right, and um, the one that was with Yodi, Mr.
Mhm.
Yodi, uh, from Yodi Red Records.
Mhm.
He just sponsored what I'm doing, believed in my music,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's like, what can I do, um and so I just respect him, so much respect for he and his family for getting behind so me, and there's a couple other artists that
Mhm.
he's gotten behind.
Mhm.
So um I mean, Ivan Johnson, he did some great music for me.
Mm.
Did the
Mhm.
one.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a great journey. It's been a great journey.
Well,
I
you can see God's handprints all over your life. I see it.
Yeah,
Stuff that should have took you out. As a matter of fact, we didn't really touch on it, but during the time that you won your Grammy, you were going through a divorce at the same time.
yes,
And God kept you.
yes.
He kept you strong. He gave you what you needed so you could keep going. And that wasn't an easy thing to do.
No, it
Yeah.
wasn't. It
Yeah.
wasn't because it's when you get married
Mhm.
and it falls apart,
Mhm.
you know, you don't come away. I don't think either one of you come away
Mhm.
um unscathed,
Right.
you
I
know.
agree.
I don't think either one of you come away unscathed. That's the reason why I write the music that I write. I
Mhm.
believe in marriage. I
Mhm.
think that before you just throw your marriage away,
Mhm.
explore all options.
Mhm.
Both. You can't
Yeah.
do it by yourself.
Right.
And don't listen to people. Don't let people come in and tear your situation
That's
apart from hearsay. And sometimes they think the grass is going to be greener on the other side, or
right.
it's not.
Right.
Everybody has something.
That's right.
What can you deal with? You know what I'm saying? um, so I wanted to write music that, especially during the pandemic, so many that I know
Mhm.
kind of fell apart,
Yeah. Yeah.
didn't want to see each other ever again, just because we
Yeah.
were in the house and found out we don't like each other.
Girl, that pandemic pulled the covers off a lot of marriages.
But that,
Mhm.
yeah, but, you know, if you're gonna leave, let it be for a good reason.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's got to be irreconcilable differences, and you got to do
Absolutely.
everything you can possibly do try
Absolutely.
to keep your marriage together. And sometimes it just doesn't work. I went through a divorce myself, and I'm so thankful that my former husband and I are friends now. He
Mm,
supports what I do. He's in the chat right now. We co-grandparent beautifully
wow.
because we know what's important.
Yeah.
We understand what's important. Our children are adults, but adult children still need you too. But it's the grandbabies that we're helping my daughter and her husband raise, and that's our number one priority. And it was really important for both of us that we part ways peacefully
Hmm.
so that we could continue on with our lives because we're going to be connected forever. We have children and grandchildren, so we're always going to be connected. And we didn't
Yes.
want that connection to bring tension and dysfunction into the family. And
Yeah.
so it was important for us to atone for the mistakes that we made in our marriage and to make sure that we were walking away, both of us walk away whole,
Yeah.
not tearing each other down and leaving each other broken. It was important for us to both walk away whole. And I believe we achieved that. And that was really important to both of us, not just to me. And so anytime you can do that, it doesn't always work that way, but when you can do it that way, that's the best way. And I know you said even with your ex-husband that you the two of you have had a chance to talk and to make
Yes.
amends, and that I think that's just the way. If you can handle divorce that way, that's the best way to handle it, I think.
Yeah. We had a great conversation, you
Hmm.
know, and realized that we did some, you shouldn't have listened to this person, or we should have came to each other and
Hmm.
said, did you hear, or did you say, or did you do, or whatever,
Hmm.
um instead of listening
Yeah.
to outsiders. And I'm like, you mean to tell me my marriage fell apart because of hearsay? you know and that's where I was with
Hmm.
it. But I had a good friend, um and still have a
Hmm.
good friend. Her
Hmm.
name is Annette
Hmm.
Warren, and her husband Larry Mewborn.
Yeah.
They helped me heal through
Hmm.
that. They
Yeah.
helped me heal. I didn't go home to my family where I could have,
Hmm.
you know, but I didn't. I just felt numb.
Hmm.
I felt numb, But what came out of it, is some great music.
Hey,
Great music.
and that's what matters.
Yes,
Retention. That's what matters. If you can turn that pain into purpose,
that's
because
right.
somebody needs to hear that story. We don't go through the adversities of life just so we can go through it. We
Oh,
have an obligation to share that so somebody else can grab hold to the hope
that's
that
right.
we had to grab hold to, which we know is Jesus Christ,
That's it.
to help them get through that.
Hmm.
Yeah, we have an obligation, we have a responsibility to do that. That's one of the reasons why I believe God gave me this show, because of the life that I've lived and the childhood trauma that I experienced, and even through my divorce. Somebody is going to find hope in that story, I believe. And God just so happened to give me, He does all things so well. He happened to give me a platform that would allow me to share that story and more, to inspire, empower, and uplift other women.
Absolutely.
So, the things that we go through in life, whether good or bad, it's never in vain. It's all to the glory and honor of God. God wastes nothing. He uses every morsel of our lives to tell a story, to bring a message. So it was all like you said, it was all for the good.
That's right. And that's why, they label us.
Hmm.
They say, oh, she's a gospel artist. She's
Hmm.
an R&B artist. I
Hmm.
don't want a label,
Right.
because the love that I have for humanity,
Hmm.
for my family,
Hmm.
for God,
Hmm.
it's love, but it's in a different way.
Hmm.
You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? And some people felt some way because I wasn't labeled as a gospel.
Hmm.
Or you're singing other music. You're not saying Jesus or God in every song.
Yeah.
I feel like my life is a testimony,
Hello.
And sometimes you have to be practical. Sometimes you've got to be down to earth. Sometimes you got to tell it from a human side.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I have the music I'll tell and I'll sing to you about how God brought me through it,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
my testimony. Um, in my testimony, I can include God, I can include a friend, I can include a loved one.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to sing and help inspire people,
Yeah.
help change or touch a heart or a life,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
And if you ask me what was it,
Mm-hmm.
what was the glue,
Mm-hmm.
then I'll tell you
Yeah.
it's God.
Yeah.
God is the glue, you know.
Yeah. I'm not one of those Christians who's always giving disclaimers and using the Jesus soundbite so people know that those who know me.
Yeah,
And even those who don't know me, they know it's something on me that allows me to be who I am. And it's
absolutely.
nobody but God. So I don't always feel the need to have to say it. I just live it. We are supposed to be living epistles read of men. You don't have to walk around carrying a big Bible, slapping people in the head with it. Live the life that Jesus taught you to live in the Bible. Let your life reflect the words of the book.
Yeah,
And then people will know and they'll see and they'll experience you in a way that says, there's something about you. And then that's when God opens the door for you to share your story about how he transformed your life. So you don't have to do these disclaimers and walk around telling people how saved you are. Just be it. You ain't got to make no announcements, man.
yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
be it. Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't do that. A lot of people do. No shade to those who do.
Right.
I'm not one that does that.
I accept people for who and where they are.
Yeah.
I know things have to happen uh, uh, full circle for each one of us,
Hmm.
where you come back around and you're like, that's how you become a witness.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
Because you develop relationship from your
Right.
experience, and you're like,
That's
wait a minute, I know this was bigger than me. you
right. Right.
and that's how it wasn't enough that my parents were pastors, and that wasn't enough. They were in ministry. That
Mhm.
wasn't going to guarantee me a slot
That's right.
into heaven or guarantee that I'm a believer. I had
Hmm.
to develop relationship. I had to experience God
Hmm.
on my own.
Yeah.
I'm still experiencing him.
Yeah.
Still, he's constantly showing me, I'm with you.
Hmm.
I'm there. I got you. You
Yeah.
know, um, your heart's in the right place. He's going to take care of you.
That's right.
Yeah.
I believe that God has favored your life and he has allowed you to be a vessel for women who are have already gone through what you've been through or who are going through it right now so that they can see that with God all things are possible. And when you're in the thick of the commotion,
Mm-hmm.
it may not always feel like it, but God is always there with us. We just have to trust, not just trust, but when he tells us to move, we got to move. When he tells us to act, we got to act. We got to put some wheels on our faith and do what he's calling us to do, and he will bring you out
For
to
sure.
the other side. I know it. I'm not talking about something I heard. I'm talking about what I know. God will bring you through.
Yeah.
And I've often heard that it's in the eye of the tornado where it's the most quiet and the most peaceful, right there in the center of the tornado.
Wow.
All hell is breaking loose around you. But if you can just get in the center of God's will,
Mhm.
that's where the peace that surpasseth all understanding can be found. That's my experience of God anyway. If I can get just to the center of his will, I
Mhm.
know that I'll be all right. And I
Yeah.
that your music carries that message so beautifully, so beautifully.
Thank you.
And I just heard you say, I just want to sing So I'm just going to ask you, could you please just sing a little bit of a praying mother?
Ooh, a praying mother.
Hmm.
Mm-mm-mm. Um, Let me see what part of it I want to sing.
Okay.
Father in heaven, so faithfully sent angels of mercy to follow me. He knew the dangers waiting just for me. I survived things no one knew but me. Didn't know where I wanted to be. I just wanted the pain to cease. But somewhere my mother was on her knees,
Mm.
praying, Father, protect her, please. Protect her from the enemy. Open her eyes so she can see. Comfort her if she's lonely. Father, do this for me, please. Look on my baby. Lord, you gave her to me. Father, hear my plea. Yeah.
Woo! Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, this has been incredible. Thank you so much, Juanita,
Thank you,
for
Sandy.
coming to be with me tonight on the Girl Talk Sunday sofa. I believe God was glorified, and I just believe that your message is a message that the world needs to hear. Now,
Absolutely.
how can people find you when if they need to find you when your new music comes out?
Um, well, friend me on Facebook.
Basically, okay.
Is Juanita Wynn at
Mhm,
Juanita Wynn. Instagram at Juanita Wynn.
mhm,
Um, and I post
mhm,
constantly. I post what's going on, what's to come.
mhm.
Um, JuanitaWynn.com as well.
Okay.
Sometimes we post stuff, but it's under construction, so don't worry about the website right now. Um,
Okay.
just look for me on social media as we build, because we're doing some things, Herb Middleton and I, um, to kind of like put the whole thing together,
Mm.
you know. So yeah, but just follow me on social media,
Okay.
posting everything that
When the
takes.
when the new project comes out, please send it to me
I
so I
definitely.
can debut it for you. I will absolutely. We're gonna sit and listen to the whole thing right here. I'm just gonna go live on Facebook and be like, look, it's here. Y'all get in here because Juanita done release new music. Get in here so we can listen to it. So please make
Yeah,
sure.
you got to get Herb Middleton on your show with the other ladies that he has. He can tell the story why he's doing what he's doing.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Can you connect us?
Absolutely.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
He's listening. He's on here.
Oh, yay. Hi, Herb. I'll be reaching out soon. Absolutely. Oh, you know what I wanted to ask you? I forgot to ask you. Have you met Fred Hammond?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I love Fred Hammond.
Yeah, that's family.
Oh my gosh. I wish I would have known that. I would have told you to be like, look, send Fred the link
Yeah,
so he can come into the studio.
I should have. I should
I
have.
know. I would love to have him on the show. I would love that. I love everything he puts out. I absolutely love.
That makes me think of, how people say, I would have invited you or I would have called you, but I know you're busy. And
Yeah.
and that's not always the case.
Right, right,
And
right.
I'm thinking, I'm not going to send that to Fred or Angie Stone because I know they're busy.
Oh, okay.
Just
Next time when your project comes out,
yeah,
we'll invite them because I'm going to
absolutely.
bring you back when your project comes out, and we'll invite
Okay.
them too.
Sounds
We can all just chat it up. Oh,
yeah,
talk
sounds
Sunday.
good. Sounds
Well,
good.
thank you so much for coming. Thank you to everyone who watched, who put a comment in the chat. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you, Juanita. I know that we're going to talk to each other again very, very soon. I'm serious about connecting with Herb too. I would love to have him on the show.
Yes, for
Yeah,
sure. Sure.
absolutely. Absolutely. Thank
I
you.
will.
I love everything about you.
Thank you.
I think that yours is a story worth sharing. It's a redemption story. And I can see how far God has brought you because of the prayers of your mother and your father and your family and the people who love you. And
Yes.
It's just an amazing, amazing story. Thank you for coming on the show to share that story.
Thank you. And I want to tell mothers everywhere,
Yeah.
don't give up on your children.
Yeah.
Don't give up on them. This is it's a even today's day, the
Mhm.
things that the youth have to contend with today is so much more,
Yeah.
you know, bigger than what we did or what I did when I was younger.
Mhm.
But, you know, pray for your children.
Yeah.
Don't give up on them. Pray for them. Pray for them. Never stop.
Yeah.
You know.
It don't matter how crazy they act.
It
None of that matters. Just pray.
No, it's a part of their journey. It's
Yeah.
I realize that, and sometimes we don't always say, my daughter's grown, my son is grown.
Mhm.
I still pray for them, and I understand the space that they need,
Mhm.
as adults. But it doesn't mean I'm gonna stop praying. I know my mother's still praying.
Yeah.
Like she got 9 kids. I'm like, mother, how you get 8 different phone calls in a day?
Yeah.
Crying or mom or just it's as a mother, it just never ends. It never ends. Just keep praying. God's got us. God's got your children.
Yes.
He's
We'll
got.
pray a special blessing over Mama Wynn. I met her too. She's so sweet.
She is.
So sweet. We want God's blessings to just shower down on her.
Yes.
Really
Yes.
do.
Yes. Yes.
Well, thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
I'll be in touch very, very soon.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Love you. Good
All
good
right.
night.
Good night.
Woo! All right, y'all. That's the show. Thank you for being here tonight. Oh, this was so good. I want to look in the chat because I want to see what y'all was talking about in the chat. Let me see. Oh, look, everybody's. Oh, I love this. I love an interactive show. I love it. I love it. Let me see. I think I can show. Oh yeah, there we go. Hi, Tabitha Tart. You must be taking a break from doing homework. Thank you for being here tonight. I appreciate it. Really, I really do. Thank you. And I see Q Williams. Wow, that was an awesome show. It was, Q. That was an awesome show. I'm so thankful to have been able to connect with Juanita. That was awesome. I see Ray, Juanita's niece. She's saying, love you, Auntie. Thank you, Ray, for being here. Thank you so much. Okay, y'all, I want to end the show with the song that I played at the top of the show because that's my song. So y'all can just stay on for a few minutes and listen to it because, honey, listen, that song is going to bless you. Everything Juanita touches music-wise is just, it's heaven sent. It just is. She has the gift. God has blessed her tremendously to write some beautiful, beautiful music. So enjoy the music. And thanks for joining me tonight. I love y'all. Good night.
When you walked into my life at first, I wasn't sure if you were playing games or if you wanted more. Just because someone else broke my heart, I didn't want to make you pay the price before I even got to know you. We both forgot where we were. There's a fire deep within, I don't want to insecure.